What is going on, Raider Nation? It's your boy Sanjit back at it with another video. Today, we are going to talk about the Las Vegas Raiders offensive line against the Cleveland Browns. We'll look at some of what the quarterback does on some of these plays. We'll look at some of the route combinations and those type of things. But I'm excited, man. We're going to get right into it. First play of the game here. Everybody knows the play. Brock Bowers has a huge drop. This sucked, right? Because this was a play that could have potentially picked up. Just from Bowers catching the football, you're looking at 20, 25 yards. He breaks the tackle, maybe 30 yards. This really set us back as an offense because on the next play, you guys will see we're going to end up having a holding penalty called. But I do like what Gardner Minshew does within this play. I will also state this. There were moments where we double teamed Myles Garrett, tight end, and left tackle. We had a running back helping the right tackle on some of these plays as well. Like you'll see on this one, the running back's going to end up coming over here towards the right. But I think Gardner Minshew does a really good job within this play, right? To me, Gardner Minshew does a really good job within this play that he doesn't like what he initially sees. He rolls out of there, and then he sees Brock Bowers downfield, and he's able to hit Brock Bowers. Now, obviously, it was a drop. Some people did talk about this, and some people do think that Gardner Minshew maybe missed some guys open up here. To me, I don't think either of these guys are open, right? To me, I know some people are going to say, hey, try fitting the ball to this guy here. That's not realistic. Some people are going to say, okay, well, the guy at the top, maybe you fit the ball underneath here or you do something to that tune. That's not realistic either, right? Those two route options are not realistic to be able to hit. Keep in mind, the receiver's running a specific way, right? You're not going to just throw it way over here and expect the guy to make a play, especially with the cornerback right there. But some people did talk about this play and said Gardner Minshew missed the guy open, which is kind of crazy to me. But I do like the fact that he makes a play, right? To me, this is exactly what you got to do if you're a quarterback. To give your offense an opportunity to continue a drive potentially, right? So you're going to get a offensive hold call here. You picked up about 6-7 yards. It would have essentially been a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. And the Raiders were going to get called for a hold. I believe it was Powers Johnson that got called for a hold. We'll see it right now here in a second. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Powers Johnson, but I don't really see a hold on this one. It might have actually been Zamir White, potentially. Not sure exactly where this hold was called. I mean, I don't really see anyone that held anyone. But this ultimately ruined the Raiders' first drive, right? Once you get a holding penalty, it's very hard to recover. So now you're looking at a 2nd and 18, and you're going to see our great offensive coach call it a run right through the middle. So we pick up 2 yards on 2nd and 18. Now you got a 3rd and 16. You got to hit this, man. You absolutely have to hit this. To me, there are moments in this game where Gardner Minshew did a good job, and there are other moments where he missed it, and this was one of those moments. You got to be able to hit this. Now, the thing I do like about this play is, as a quarterback, you're going to come out there, you're going to say, okay, this is what I see pre-snap, and this is what I'm thinking. Now, the thing with the Cleveland Browns is if you guys watch tape on the Cleveland Browns, they do this all the time. They'll put all their guys on the line of scrimmage, and they'll show cover 3 essentially, right, with these guys. And then they'll rotate this, right? A guy comes here, a guy goes over here, a linebacker into the middle, a cornerback takes the other half the field. Essentially they're trying to mix coverage and they're trying to get these quarterbacks to be confused. They're trying to mess with the pass protection. And on this play here, the Raiders actually catch the Browns in a bad situation. That is that they have a linebacker that's going to drop. So one of these two guys, you'll see it's number 5 here. He's going to drop, and he's playing Tampa 2 essentially, right? So it's a cover 2 defense. So the corner has to split the half the field with the other corner here. But you do have a linebacker dropping right into the middle of the defense. And Gardner Minshew makes the read. He knows exactly where he wants to go with the football, and this is exactly where you would want to go with the football. The pocket's clean. You got to hit this. Right, I don't think he would have scored on this. I think Denzel Ward would have probably made the tackle anyways. But again, to me, you got to hit that, right? That's 50 yards right there. That changes the entire game. Now, we come back on the next drive. We have a couple of really nice plays on this drive. I love the end arounds that the Raiders ran. I really think that the Raiders running these end arounds was the difference in this game. I truly think if there's one thing that allowed the Raiders offense to work more, it was these end arounds. And I know people are going to say you only scored 20 points. How good was the offense really? In my opinion, it was a lot better, right? You got to keep in mind the Cleveland Browns were the #1 ranked defense last year. They have every single player from last year to this year. There's really no difference. The only difference with the Cleveland Browns right now on the defensive side is they're just not having as much success on the offensive side, and it's kind of making the defense look a little bit worse. But this is still one of the best defenses in the NFL. And I felt like these end arounds allowed us to have more success. Plus, we ran the ball a lot better. Now, Gardner Minshew statistically may not have been great, but we also have to keep in mind the first 3 weeks of the season, we were playing from behind. Against the Browns, we were playing from ahead, right? So that's going to make a big difference in terms of the stats, right? The statistical production of a quarterback. If you're playing from behind, you're throwing the ball a ton. If you're playing from ahead, you're running the ball a ton, right? Let's talk about this play here because this was right after the Brock Bowers 12-yard run. This is a first down run here with Zamir White. This here looks to me like duo, which would be a power run concept. Yeah, to me, you just got to do a better job if you're the left tackle here. So the left tackle, tight end, are going to essentially block from here to here. You'll get a double here up to the linebacker there. You get a double here to here. Or I think maybe the tight end comes in here and goes into here, which means you get a double from here to here up to the linebacker there, and then Glaze blocks out. So I'll keep an eye on the tight end here. Yeah, the tight end goes into the gap, which makes sense. You'll also see that from the double team block between Paris Johnson and Miller up to the linebacker is going to shoot the gap towards the inside. So what that means is Zamir White's going to naturally cut this back towards the left, right? And again, if Andres Peat makes this block, this play could have popped. I mean, think about this play right here. Zamir White is going to try to cut this back to the left. You got a pretty good block here on Garrett. If Andres Peat makes contact with this safety, and let's say he pushes him in right about here and he seals him off here, and if Zamir White's able to squeeze through this gap, how many guys are back there in the secondary? And the thing is Zamir White does see this, right? He is trying to cut it back towards the left, but again, Andres Peat just misses his block. You got to do a better job, man. That's just unacceptable, right? There's this basic-ass stuff. And Zamir White's going to have no chance to have success if you can't block for him, right? So you got a 1st and 10, picked up 1 yard. Then you got a 2nd and 9, and the Raiders are going to run it again, and you're going to pick up 3 yards on this one. This looks like zone to me. You're going to bring the tight end, and the tight end's going to essentially jump into the middle. It might actually be power. I'm not 100% sure. Because of the fact that both the left tackle, right tackle block outwards. I'm not sure if this is zone. Plus, left guard center double team at the point of attack. Regardless, play doesn't really work too well. This is hard, man. This is very, very hard because the box is stacked, right? This is a heavy box. The wide receiver has to come and block this safety. But the wide receiver is way far out there to the right, so it's hard for that receiver to come downhill. You see Trey Tucker here trying to get to this guy here. That's a hard block. Unless Zamir White is able to squeeze through the right here and Trey Tucker hits this guy, it's just not going to happen, right? There's just no way you're going to have success on this run. You picked up about 3 yards. I will say this is a good job by the center and left guard. They're going to double team, and they're going to generate a little bit of movement. That movement right there allows that gap to open up, right? You see this double team. You see the movement. And then Dylan Parham also does a pretty good job. His block's easy. He essentially just has a back block. Pretty simple block. But Zamir White still picks up 3 yards, right? So you get a 3rd and 6, which isn't ideal. But it's not terrible, right? You'd rather be in a 3rd and 6 than a 3rd and 16, right? And Gardner Minshew does a really nice job with the pass. Trey Tucker runs a deep out. The offensive line does not do a great job on this one. It's interesting to me to help the right tackle when Myles Garrett's over here to the left side, right? You're going to put Brock Bowers to essentially help the right tackle. Watch Brock Bowers. As soon as the ball is snapped, he's going to hit the defensive end. Bam. That's going to help number 71. But what that means is Colt Miller has a one-on-one with Myles Garrett. Now, Minshew does a good job getting the ball out, right? He's going to set up towards that left side anyways. But there's no progression for this play, right? It's a 1, 2, 3. As soon as he hits his 3rd step, he's going to get the ball out. And Gardner Minshew still ends up getting hit, right? Myles Garrett still ends up hitting him. And, I don't know. I think this is a bad job by Luke Getsy. The first week of the season, Maxx Crosby got double teamed on all but like 9 plays, right? Every other play, he was double teamed. You got to double team Myles Garrett every single play, especially against a guy like Colt Miller, who's hurt, right? He's hurt right now. We know the shoulder's not healthy. And you got to double team him because over the course of, as we watch every single one of these snaps, you guys will see how many snaps Colt Miller ends up losing or Myles Garrett just ends up impacting. You got a 1st and 10 here after that 14-yard pass to Trey Tucker. Keep in mind, this is still the 2nd drive. This is a pretty good drive by the Raiders, right? DJ Glaze has to do a better job. And there's a pin pull concept towards the right. It's a power run, but basically from left tackle to right guard, all these guys are basically reaching a gap to the right. But it's not zone, it's still technically power, which is kind of weird. I don't know why they call it power. I guess it's probably because the front side guys block down. But the play does not work. And a part of why this play does not work is because of DJ Glaze is not able to get out there fast enough. Now, maybe Trey Tucker should have done a better job, but I mean, based off of how, number 19's lined up here, Turner, I mean, to me, doesn't this look like this guy's about to block down? And I get it. It's Myles Garrett, so he's probably a little nervous, but, I guess that wasn't Myles Garrett. It was some random linebacker. But, the play did not work because DJ Glaze is not fast enough out there. And Zamir White just outruns his block. And this is not on Zamir White. This is on DJ Glaze. You got a 2nd and 10, and this time Trey Tucker is going to catch another pass, and he's going to make a move. And I love this right here, man. This is what Trey Tucker can do. This type of stuff is, this is Trey Tucker for you right here, man. You give him the football. Now, this to me looks like some sort of slot fade action up here. So you got a hitch, and then you got the fade by the tight end. And he's going to get the ball out quickly, and it looks like it's some sort of fade on both sides. You even got a fade over here to the left. I don't know who that is right there. It could be Jacobe. It is Jacobe Myers. But quarterback gets the ball out. He hits the receiver. Receiver picks up 14 yards. You can take a look here at the offensive lineman. Now, one thing to note with this play is Gardner Minshew, recognizes the formation. He recognizes the play call. This is a true 5-man protection. There's no tight end help. There's no running back help. Gardner Minshew understands all of his offensive linemen are in one-on-one blocks. And every single defensive lineman understands this too. Every single guy knows it's a true one-on-one situation. And if Minshew does not get the ball out, he's going to take a hit. Now, if you guys watched my video against the Panthers, I broke down a little bit about Aiden O'Connell. We talked about him in that video. I don't know exactly what video it was, but the Raiders got into a situation down in the goal line where they essentially came out in the same formation. It was a 5-man protection. And Aiden O'Connell took 3 steps and he threw the ball and it hit the linebacker right in his hands. The thing is as a quarterback, my offensive line might not be that good when it comes to pass pro. You know that if you don't get the ball out, you're going to take a hit. Right? So if this play was essentially designed to, hey, we're going to hit the fades right out of the slot, the quarterback's not going to have time because this offensive line's not very good. Even though we're having success running the football, it still struggles when it comes to pass pro. You're going to get an 8-yard run here. Looks like split zone. It is split zone. Just a really, really good job here by the interior guys. Powers Johnson's going to do a great job making contact with long 3 technique. The center's going to also double team and make sure this guy gets pushed out of there. So you see the double team there by Andre. That's a great job right there by Powers Johnson and Andre James. Now, that right there is how you move a guy, right? Even Dylan Parham has a reach block on the 2-eye technique. This is not an easy block to make, but Dylan Parham does a great job. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. And Dylan Parham's been very consistent for the Raiders this year. So you got to give a lot of credit to Dylan Parham. The guy's been very solid for us. And you got to give credit where credit's due. And I definitely think Dylan Parham's been one of those guys. You're going to get what looks like pin pull once again. You're going to get a 10-yard run towards the right. Tyree McAllister. I did not realize this guy was a running back. I always thought he was a wide receiver. But this time, the Raiders do a good job with the execution. They're going to actually end up pulling both the right tackle and the tight end. And they're going to get a down block with Tucker here on the defensive end. Tucker's going to do a good job. I guess he doesn't. 57 kind of just tosses him. But it's good enough, right? Because although 57 tosses him, that's a huge mismatch right there, right? Although 57 tosses Trey Tucker, he's not going to be fast enough to get out there. And then Harrison Bryant, I mean, look at this block by 84. Look at 84 get out there. Look at him make contact and look at him drive this corner to the sideline. That right there is a really, really good block. Huge, huge, huge credit to him. He's the guy that really opens this up. And then Brock Bowers also blocks down here. That's a good job. That's just a really good job by the blockers up front. And a good job by McAllister to kind of let that develop. And then he hits the gap. You're going to get a 1st and 8. You're going to get a 1-yard run here. couldn't really do much, right? It's a stacked box. On top of that, it's just one of those plays, man. You're gonna run duo towards the inside. It's hard, right? Especially against a stacked box. Duo's mostly meant to run against a light box. And if you guys don't know what that means, and we had Mel Kiper talking about this recently, every team was playing too high, and it's essentially killing offenses in the NFL. So when you play too high safeties, you're in a light box. When you only have one safety deep, you're essentially stacking the box. You have one extra defender down in the box, which essentially means you're going to be able to stop a play from picking up big yards, like specifically in the run game, right? Because of the fact that you have one extra guy, every gap is essentially filled. Pretty nice job here by Zamir White. He's going to pick up 4 yards on 2nd and 7. Nice job by the guys in the front. Colt Miller does a really good job on his down block. This looks like zone, but it could be a run pass option. DJ Glaze does not do a good job. He's going to actually end up getting crossed here by the defensive end right there. You can't have that, right? DJ Glaze has to be able to block this guy to the outside because this is a zone run towards the right, right? So if DJ Glaze is able to push this guy outwards, you can have a gap essentially develop underneath that. But the second this defenseman crosses you, you're essentially forcing the running back have to cut it back towards the left. Now, on this play here, right, it ended up working in Zamir White's favor where he's able to pick up 4 yards. But that's not always the case, right? Sometimes this guy can potentially blitz. This guy can come downhill a lot faster, and he can stop the play a lot quicker. So DJ Glaze has to do a better job on this one. Then you got a 3rd and 3. You're going to design a really nicely designed play here. And I love the effort here by all the guys up front, right? It's not just the tight end on the front side. Like 84 does a great job. Brock Bowers does a great job. Even the quarterback, right, is not a whole lot, but all these guys get involved, and this is what you need. As a team that's essentially now losing its best wide receiver, every player has to get involved, right? And this is a really, really good job, and Trey Tucker takes it in for 3 yards, and the Raiders end up scoring a touchdown on the 2nd drive of the game. And then let's get into the 3rd drive of the game here. This is 7 minutes left in the 2nd quarter. The score right now is 7-10. You're going to get a 2-yard run by Zamir White, and we can see kind of what's going to end up happening on this run. This one's going to be on Powers Johnson. Although Zamir White does break the first tackle, Powers Johnson's going to end up getting crossed here. So keep an eye on Powers Johnson. Let me slow this down. Keep an eye on Powers Johnson. He ends up, and it's not crossed. So number 94 actually comes down. He crosses Andre James, which now means Powers Johnson has to take this guy on. And he's set up to the inside. It's a hard block to make, however you look at it. And then DJ Glaze here has to do a better job as well. You can't miss, right? You can't miss that block right there. He just straight up misses 6. The hands, he straight up just misses. You can essentially miss this if you miss it. Like if this guy goes wider, it's okay. And Zamir White does exactly what he's supposed to do when this guy's essentially here when you get this player. You cut it back to the left. But because of the fact that Powers Johnson also ends up losing his block, you get 2 guys to lose their block. This is what you're going to get out of this, right? But again, good job by Zamir White still to be able to break through and pick up 2 yards on 1st and 10. Then you're going to get a 2nd and 8. The Raiders going to pick up 5 yards on this one. You're going to get duo once again, or at least that's what it looks like from this angle. We can check it here. Yeah, it looks like duo to me. And Zamir White, man, is just going to push forward for 5 yards. It's a really, really good job right there. Not a bad job. Love Zamir White just kind of pushing right through the defensive end, picking up 5 yards. You got a 3rd and 3. And the quarterback's going to hit Jacobe Myers on this one. Good job to be able to just kind of play within the structure of the offense to get the ball out. It's a 3-step drop. 1, 2, 3. Gets the ball out. Super simple concept. Ball's a little high, though. I will say that. Right? Ball's a little high. You don't want your wide receiver to have to jump up. You rather put it low if you don't want him to get hit so you can catch it and kind of go down. Ball's a little high. Minshew has to do a better job with that. But it's ball placement. Right? I don't think ball placement's really that big of a deal. But again, that's also if a quarterback's really, really good. And I guess with Gardner Minshew, he's really not that good. So I guess with Minshew, you need good ball placement, right? You got a run pass option on this one, and the quarterback's going to pull it, and he's going to end up hitting Trey Tucker. Now, he pulls this because of the fact the linebacker comes downhill, and this is the right read, right? You want to pull that, you want to throw it. It's also against soft coverage. It's a good job right there by Minshew to make that decision to not hand the ball off. You got these guys blitzing essentially. The play may have picked up some yards. It might not have. There's a chance the linebacker that blitzes just ends up blowing this up. So I like that Minshew pulls it and throws it. You're going to pick up 9 yards on 1st and 10. And then you got a 2nd and 1, and Alexander Madison's going to hit this for 24 yards. Just a really, really good job, man. This run is why Alexander Madison should be the Raiders starting running back. I've talked about this multiple times. I'm not 100% sure if Madison getting 18 carries a game is going to be a good thing for him, but the offensive line do a really good job. And you got to give credit here to DJ Glaze. So DJ Glaze has a guy that's, you could say he's in the 4-eye technique. I would say he's actually in the long 3 technique because it looks like to me he's trying to essentially stay within this gap based on how he's lined up, right? If you look at this guy, for example, this guy's lined up where he's trying to be on the inside shoulder of Powers Johnson, right? So you would say he's in the 2-eye technique. To me, this guy's aimed towards the right guard here. But keep an eye on DJ Glaze here. He's going to do a really good job with his reach block. He's going to get right to the inside of this guy. And that right there is what you need on zone runs, right? And this is zone because everybody, if you look at all the guys across the offensive lineman, every single guy steps to the left right out of their stance. And with that, these guys just do a really good job. And Dylan Parham does a good job with the linebacker. My linebacker tries blitzing towards the left of Parham. He just kind of gets to him, lets him go. That's a great job right there, man. I absolutely love it across the board. And even Brock Bowers, man. Brock Bowers is going to almost slingshot this defensive end. Like he's almost going to pull him backwards, and then he releases him, and then he gets up to the safety, right? Number 0 there. He doesn't really block him, but this is a good job by Powers Johnson, right? It's not a hold. It's a slingshot. Sometimes it does get called as a hold, but he's essentially going to use his momentum. He's going to push him upfield. And that's just a good job across the board when it comes to run blocking. That was 2nd and 1. We pick up 1st down. And then we have a drive-killing penalty on this one. I absolutely killed this drive. And I thought this was a really, really bad call. And we picked up 7-8 yards on 1st and 10. The Raiders might not have scored a lot of points, but it's because of these type of penalties right here. Right? Again, I think this was a really, really bad call. As an offensive lineman, if you can't torque a guy that's lined up in the long 3 technique, if you can't turn him and you can't twist him and throw him, how is that a hold right there? That's absolutely crazy to me. That's such a basic ass block by an offensive lineman that's being physical. That is not a hold right there. That is such a terrible block. To me, if this guy's pulling away, sure, maybe you call that a hold, but he's not. Jackson Powers Johnson just straight up tossing him. And because of that, we end up losing, this is an 18-yard difference on this play. We lose 10 yards as opposed to picking up 8. Miller does a really nice job on this one, and I know it's not going to count, but he's going to reach Myles Garrett. Beautiful job. Look at this. Look at that reach. It does not get better than that right there, man. That's a phenomenal reach block by Colt Miller. And it won't count, unfortunately, because of that hold. Brock Bowers does a good job driving. I think that's a safety. It could be a corner. This is why Brock Bowers makes it so hard, because on one play he'll line up as a wide receiver. You hurry it up on the next play. Well, now you have a cornerback trying to cover Brock Bowers, and then you run the ball, and this guy just crushes people. Look at the movement, right? As soon as he makes contact, this guy's responsibility right now is to hold his ground. Set the edge, hold his ground, do not give up any movement. That way when the running back tries to run into this gap, it's not that big of a gap essentially between those two guys. But look at Brock Bowers move this guy. Look at that movement. Right? That's like 8-9 yards right there, a movement by Brock Bowers. That play is what allows, or that block right there is what allows these plays to ultimately open up. So that's a really, really good job right there by Brock Bowers. But so now we got a 1st and 20. We're gonna pick up 4 yards on this one. It's unfortunate because 1st and 20 is hard to recover from. But the only way you can recover is by essentially throwing the football. Now, you're going to have to throw this ball hot because of the fact that you bring basically, 7-8 guys right there. You're in cover 0. All these guys are, 7, 8, 9 yards off the ball. You got to throw this hot with all those guys coming. You're going to hit Trey Tucker for 4 yards on this one. You got a 2nd and 16. And then you're going to have to throw this ball hot once again because of the fact that you have all these guys blitzing. Now, here's one of the things I think sometimes people don't realize. You know, on this play here, you're going to get a wide receiver to ultimately get open. Right here. Right? You got a wide receiver running wide open. And people are going to say, you got to throw that ball. You got to take that shot. The thing is NFL offenses are not designed 100% of the time for a quarterback to just do whatever he wants with the football. You know, if you bring an extra guy, right? So the Raiders are on a 5-man protection. If you bring 6 guys, there's no way the quarterback's going to be able to just sit back there. There's not enough guys to block every single one of these guys up here, right? So essentially the quarterback has to throw the ball hot. There's nothing a quarterback can do within this play. And, you know, I saw people saying, oh, why would you not throw this ball deep? It's a miss. And, you know, I'm going to just tell you guys right now, you know, I think there's people that are biased against Gardner Minshew. You can say I'm biased for Gardner Minshew. I'm biased for any quarterback that's starting for the Raiders, right? But I'm also honest about how NFL works, right? And it's not as easy as a guy's just open on every play. He's, you know, throw it. It doesn't work like that, right? It's a cover 0. You bring 6 guys against a 5-man protection. You got to get the ball out hot unless you want to take a sack, right? Regardless, you get 6 yards on 2nd and 16. It almost seems like when Brock Bowers kind of catches this, he wasn't really ready for the pass. But regardless, Brock Bowers does a good job making 2 guys miss. Then he got a 3rd and 10, and you're not going to be able to pick this one up. You know, this is one of the things that kind of sucks with having a poor offensive line. You know, being in a 5-man protection makes sense. Of course, you know, in a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 5-man protection makes sense. Not 1st and 20, right? You come out in a 5-man on 1st and 20, they're going to blitz you. But on this one here, notice how the Raiders are going to double team the D end here with Brock Bowers. You're going to double team the defensive end over here with Zamir White. And you have to do this, right? Because you have a rookie starting over here. Your left tackle's hurt over here. You got to help these guys as much as possible. And the thing is when you do that, and you look at these routes, keep an eye on Brock Bowers and look at the route he's going to run. He's going to double team and he's going to run into the flats. That's not a real route, right? That's not a route on 3rd and 10 that's going to pick up a 1st down. Zamir White does the same thing. He's going to hit and he's going to run into the flats. So what that means is now you only have 3 guys running real routes. And 3 guys running routes against 7 guys in coverage, you're never going to hit that downfield. Like, you will never hit that. So it's unfortunate because then the Raiders are trying to just pick up whatever they can. And obviously Zamir White ends up dropping this. But it's not a big deal because we kicked the field goal anyways. And we ended up getting the 3 points out of this one. So after we picked up those 3 points, scores 10-10, the Raiders defense got a stop. The Browns punter did a really nice job with the punt. Got us all the way down to the 3-yard line. You're going to get penalized on 1st and 10. Now you're going to be in a 1st and 11, essentially from like the 1.5-yard line. And Zamir White's going to pick up 17 yards. Now, this is the good thing with the Raiders, you know, offense at times, right? If you're able to hit with Zamir White on this power run concept, and then on the next play, you can come back running zone with Alexander Madison. And I know you can't do that 100% of the time. But if you're able to do that and find success with 2 running backs, that should open up an offense, right? Big credit here to number 86 with the block on the defensive end here, right? He's going to essentially block this guy outwards. Can't tell if that's Myles Garrett. It might be Myles. So that's a good job right there. It is not Myles Garrett. It's number 99. And then watch DJ Glaze's block as well. It's a good job to generate a little bit of movement, and Zamir White hits that right off of that. Zamir White comes into the game, you can expect the Raiders to run duo, right? Which is the power run concept. And that's exactly what this is right here. This is a pretty good job. You're going to pick up 17 yards. And now you have a potential drive going, right? You got 50 seconds left from the 19-yard line. So if you're the Las Vegas Raiders, you could potentially, you know, push the ball downfield, get into field goal range. And just like that, you get a sack for 6 yards. And that's the end of that drive, right? Again, this is hard, right? Because you're putting Colton Miller in a one-on-one with Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's going to win 8 of 10 times in a one-on-one against any tackle. You can have Penalty Sewell back there. You can have Andrew Thomas back there. Myles Garrett's going to win. Now, Gardner Minshew does look towards the left. He thinks about throwing this to the left. You know, you could take that 50-50 chance. I would have pulled the trigger if I'm the quarterback, but I'm not the quarterback. You know, maybe it gets completed. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe the quarterback didn't have the time to step into his throw, right? He's looking right here. This is when you would throw the ball. So you hit your 3rd step. Now you're going to throw the ball right there. And he had time. He should have taken that shot. I would have taken that shot. All right, that too is cover 3, right? So essentially it's one-on-one down there. But the quarterback doesn't take the shot, and essentially that's going to ruin the drive. So Gardner Minshew, to me, has to do a better job. Colt Miller obviously has to do a better job as well. You're going to pick up 4 yards on 2nd and 16, and they're going to need the ball going into half. I think it was the right decision at that point. The score is 10-10. The Raiders start with the football, and they do a pretty good job on this drive. But I want to talk about some of these plays because they do end up getting pretty much all the way downfield, and they're going to end up getting stopped at the end of this drive. But I do think that at some point, maybe in 3 drives or so, something happens to the Raiders offense that I want to talk about. I love this play here. Now, I'm not sure if this is a play action pass or if this was a design run pass option. I don't think it was a run pass option. I think this was a design play. It's a good job right there by Gardner Minshew. I mean, it doesn't get better than this right here. All right, you're going to bring a bunch of guys. You're essentially playing cover 1, man-to-man defense. And you're going to get Jacobe Myers the ball. And it's a 7-8 yard pass. He picks up another 10 yards after the catch. That's a great job right there by Gardner Minshew. And again, it's the fact that you have all these guys blitzing. You have all these guys coming off the edge. And again, I don't think this was a run-pass option because it looks like these guys are almost pass blocking. Or at least that's what it looks like to me, right? But you're going to pick up 19 yards on 1st and 10. And then you're going to try to run the football with Tyree McAllister. And he's only going to end up picking up 1 yard. Now, I will say this. McAllister had 2 runs. The first run he had, it was literally the same exact play. The second run he had, it's literally the same exact play. Right? It's essentially a pin pull. You're going to get both DJ Glaze as well as the tight end to run towards that side. Right? So same play, same guys out there as well. And this time it's not going to work. Andre James has to do a better job, though. If Andre James makes this block on number 6, this play pops for 20, 30 yards. Because every other guy makes their block. Literally, every single guy ends up making their block, right? You got that's a good enough block where this guy's not going to make the play. Right? You see Tyreek McAllister slips past that. Good enough by Trey Tucker. Good enough up here by these guys. 84, Bryant gets to his block. DJ Glaze is going to pick up the corner. I mean, this play potentially goes, man, if Andre James cuts off number 6. And it's not a super difficult block either, right? You get guys like faster centers, right? Creed Humphrey, Cam Jurgens, Jason Kelsey would always make this block. You got to make this block, right? This is what Andre James is supposed to be able to do. And that right there is a difference of 1 yard and maybe 15. Not a big deal. That was 1st and 10. He picked up 1 yard. 2nd and 9. You're going to all out blitz once again. You got to complete this pass. Now, I do think it might have been tipped. And I will also say this, you're going to come out with this crazy ass blitz. And, it's not a bad read, right? And it's not even a terrible job with the protection. It almost looks like most guys get picked up. But I do think the guy Dylan Parham's blocking, I do think he ends up tipping the football. You guys tell me, you guys think that's a tip? Looks to me like it's a tip because it falls way short. But it's always hard to tell. They're not recording this in 4K. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe he didn't tip it. I don't know. I can't really tell. But you got to complete that, man. You got to complete that. Again, I'm not sure, right? I'm not sure. It looks like the ball falls way short. I find it hard to believe that you're going to throw it that short. All right. But you got to complete that pass right there. Again, it's not a huge deal because we're going to get billed out with the roughing the passer penalty on this next play. That's, I don't know. That's debatable, right? I don't want to be super biased for the Raiders. I get it. Why you want to call this penalty. I'm pretty sure there was another penalty where Myles Garrett hit Gardner Minshew on the head, right, with his arms. And it wasn't called. Now this one, obviously, I guess his helmet hits Minshew's helmet a little bit. I guess that is definitely a 15-yard play. But this is also a bad job by the quarterback as well as the receiver. You guys keep an eye on the receiver. The receiver's going to turn to the inside, and Minshew's going to throw the ball towards the outside. Now, It's crazy because there was a play in which Gardner Minshew threw an interception last week. And the reason why it was an interception was because Devontae Adams ran an out route and Gardner Minshew threw the ball thinking the receiver's going to stop to the inside. So Minshew threw it to the inside. The cornerback was on the top here, and the cornerback picked it off. This time it's the opposite. The receiver's going to turn to the inside, and the quarterback's going to throw it to the outside, right? So there's miscommunication on this one. And again, I'm not sure. This is definitely a Luke Getsy, offensive approach, right? Where the receiver can either run a curl or he can run an out, depending on probably how that cornerback stacked. But, do you really want your quarterback and receiver to be like 50-50? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. But you do have to do a better job up front here. Left guard and left tackle have to be able to pass off this defensive line game. To me, this is on it's on Powers Johnson as much as it is on Colt Miller. Powers Johnson has to pass this off better. You got to stop number 91, and then you got to make sure Miller's in a good spot when he overtakes that block. But Powers Johnson does do a good job getting back to his guy, essentially, right? Not a huge deal. On the right side, you also get a little bit of pressure. Not a lot of pressure. 3rd and 9, you're going to get a 15-yard penalty plus an automatic first down. You're going to get a 1st and 10. You're going to pick up 14 yards here. Just a nicely designed play where you get basically a free 14 yards, right? Nothing crazy on this play. It's a good job, right? 14 yards, play within the structure of the offense, get the guy the ball that probably needs the football in that moment. You're going to get a 2-yard run here by Zamir White. I thought there was some potential on this play here. The Raiders have run this trap concept twice this year. They ran it once with Cody Whitehair. This is the second time they ran it. This time it was with Jackson Powers Johnson. So Powers Johnson is pulling, and you want to trap this 3 technique. But the 3 technique just kind of falls. So, it does suck because, I felt like there was room for Zamir White. Right, if Zamir White is able to hit this towards the left, and again, I know there's a guy here, but, I almost feel like if you're able to hit this or get past number 6, is this on DJ Glaze? Should he have done a better job? Maybe. But there was a lot of room, man. You can see it from this angle here. All right, there's a lot of space for this play to potentially pop. But 1st and 10, you pick up 2 yards. Then you got a 2nd and 8, and you're going to pick up 4 yards on this one. You're going to essentially get the ball to Jacobe Myers. This is a bad pass. This is an absolute bad pass by Gardner Minshew. You got to do a better job with the pass. Jacobe Myers falls because he has to come kind of forward for the football. Punt this in his chest, man. Let the guy make a play. Let the guy potentially beat this corner out there. Right? 2nd and 8, you got to do a better job if you're Gardner Minshew. Keep in mind the score right now is 10-10. 3rd and 4, it's going to be an incomplete pass. I like the play, right? You're giving your essentially best wide receivers the potential with this play. Some people are going to say, hey, why would you not throw it to Brock Bowers here? I prefer to throw it away from the safety as opposed to throw it to the safety. What I mean by that, you have 2 routes, right? So you got Brock Bowers running this dig route, and then you got Myers running this fade route. If Minshew takes 3 steps and then he starts looking over here to the right, essentially what's happening is your receiver is running a dig, and this safety is going to also start to creep that way, essentially. Right? So you're going to throw a pass essentially to where the safety is, right? As opposed to this one, you're throwing it away from the safety. Right? Even if the safety starts to creep, the ball is still away from the safety. To me, I don't disagree with the decision on this play, right? I'm cool with Gardner Minshew giving Jacobe Myers this chance. Maybe it's a better pass. Maybe you throw the flag on this, right? Maybe there's a chance that this was a pass interference, but I'll take this 100% of the time. I like that right there, right? I like that shot. Offensive line isn't terrible, but there's a little bit of a push right through the middle. You can see when Gardner Minshew throws this, Andre James kind of hits him, right? So you got to do a little bit of a better job on this one to be able to not get pushed right back into the quarterback. It's a 1, 2, 3 step drop. So just a little bit of a better job. Not a terrible job by any means. You're going to kick a field goal. It's 13-10 at this point. The Raiders are going to end up in a short field goal situation. And you got to hit this one, man. There's no reason for you not to be able to hit this. Now, this drive here is going to actually end up in a Raiders touchdown. So it doesn't matter, but to me, you still got to hit this because of the fact that this could have easily not been a touchdown, right? This drive could have easily been stopped. And, between the DJ Turner play at the beginning of this video and this one here, you're leaving like 80 yards out there. And it's a nasty route right here, man. Look at this. Bam, just straight up shakes this guy. But you got to hit this. And I know some people are going to say Jacobe Myers has to make that catch. I disagree, man. That's not on Jacobe Myers. This is on Gardner Minshew 100% of the time. I don't care that this guy had one hand on it when he's diving, fully putting himself out there. That would have been an incredible catch too, right? But you can't expect your wide receiver to make this. It just needs to be, half a yard closer to the wide receiver. And this is hard, man. There's 100 yards of space out there. Plus, if you consider from left to right, what is that, 50 yards from left to right? That's a lot of yards, right? And half a yard's the difference between a completed pass and an incomplete pass. But again, you got to be able to complete this. Now, notice on this play that you're going to once again keep a tight end and a running back in. Good job by the guys up front. Gardner Minshew's kept clean on this one, but you got to hit it. So you're going to get a 2nd and 10, and you're actually going to get a pass interference on this one. I think this is a run-pass option, right? It looks like a run-pass option to me. It's an automatic first down regardless, so you're going to get a 1st and 10. You're going to get 13 yards on this one to Jacobe Myers. This one could have been intercepted potentially, right? According to some people, right? I felt like it was close. I, don't love the design of this play. Like, was this supposed to be a shot play because of the fact that there's only one guy that's running deep, right? Was the point of this play to throw it to him, or was it to get this tight end to slip? Keep an eye on the tight end. I think it's this tight end here. Oh, yeah. So you see this slip, right? Was that the point of this play? And it could have been, right? Obviously, it doesn't end up working. That's a great job by this linebacker to see that. Look at that. He runs right with it. But I do like that play design. I love these slip plays. If you keep an eye on Gardner Minshew, he's looking over. Look at that. He looks right over there. So that was definitely the design of this play. We got to keep running these, man. You got to run this twice a game because you'll get a defense sleeping at some point on these plays, right? So a wide action as well, right? This is why you gotta. This is why you have to continue to run zone, is because of this play action right here, right? So that's why you have to continue to run zone. Your guys that you want to throw it to isn't there. And he's gonna throw it to Jacobe. I don't think the corner was that close, but I do hope Gardner Minshew actually saw Denzel Ward, right? He didn't throw this thinking this guy's just wide open. But it's a good job to catch that right there, right? And then he ends up picking up 10 yards after the catch. So 1st and 10, you pick up 13 yards. You're essentially going to pick up the 1st down, and then you're going to actually run the football on this one. This looks to me like, let's see, is it a pin pull? It is a pin pull towards the left with Zamir White. Don't love that. The blocking's not good up front. You can see, so Powers Johnson has to get to, I think it's this guy here. And he doesn't. He just kind of pushes him. But keep an eye on Powers Johnson. Look at the physicality here. I love this, right? This is why they warned him. Bam, look at that. That's why they warned Powers Johnson. I mean, look at this. Here he is. Keep an eye on him. Boom. That's why they essentially warned, hey, Powers Johnson needs to relax a little bit. He also was jumping on some piles. He was also, kind of throwing people, hitting people a little late. I like it. I think that's the type of tone you got to set as an offensive lineman. So you got a 2nd and 9. You can get an incomplete pass here to Jacobe Myers. That's a hard play. All right. I like the design of it. Jacobe Myers creates separation right away. I mean, if he just kept running. Now, you got to understand, that was not the design of this play, right? The design was not for Jacobe to continue to run here. But he gets separation right away. So Jacobe's going to turn back. But you don't have the time as a quarterback, right? You throw it because you're about to get hit. The offensive line has to do a better job, right? This is just on DJ Glaze. You got to do a better job, man. You're gonna jump set, right? It's gonna end up. You're showing play action, so the offensive linemen are gonna jump set. DJ Glaze gets into that defensive tackle, and that defensive tackle ends up spinning off of it. Glaze doesn't have the feet, doesn't have the quickness. He's not gonna stay with this guy. Quarterback gets pressured and hit. You can't have that, man. The play probably gets open if Jacobe Myers is able to actually potentially release and have 3-4 steps, and the quarterback has the time. Also, this looks like a hold to me, man. You gotta potentially, maybe it wasn't, but 2nd and 9, incomplete pass. 2nd and 9, the Raiders were obviously ready to settle for a field goal, so they ran the football here, and they pick up 16 yards on 3rd and 9. 3rd and 9, you're willing to settle for a field goal, so you run the football. Unless you thought, hey, we're going to catch this defense slipping, which you kind of do, and we get lucky here too, because the slot corner up top, he comes, and Powers Johnson picks this up perfectly. All right, Powers Johnson processes it. He ends up getting to this guy, and we pick up 16 yards here. And Madison does a good job breaking a tackle as well. Also, note that because of the fact the Cleveland Browns love to show this, like the mug look with the linebacker in the A gap, you bring a guy over here. If you run power off of these type of fronts, it's hard to stop. Because the thing with power is, if you block these guys down here, and you get one guy to pull, and there's only one guy out here, and you make this block, well, I mean, down blocks are easy. These are easy blocks for all these guys. And that opens up a natural lane for the running back, and that's exactly what happens on this play. Right? You get all those down blocks, you get a kick out block, just like that, you pick up 16 yards. That's a really, really good job. And then you're going to come around with an end around. And once again, man, just a really, really good job. And you got to give credit here to Brock Bowers. People are going to say Brock Bowers did not have a good game. I think he had like 2 catches. But the guy had a lot of really, really high-quality blocks. Look at this block here. It's not on Myles Garrett, but he's going to get out here towards the left. And look at this. He not only gets in front of this linebacker there, but then he makes sure the other guy's not able to get there either, right? He pushes that guy into the other guy. That's incredible right there, if you guys ask me, man. That's such a great block. And then you also got to give credit to DJ Turner for breaking like 3 tackles or making people miss. That's a really, really good job, man. We got to get DJ Turner the football a lot more, right? A lot more, in my opinion. Because this guy's shown us that he can make plays. So the score now is 20-10. And the Raiders now got to just run the football. And they got to just, they got to essentially at this point just try to ice the game, right? Now, there's still, it's still like a whole quarter and a minute, right? It's about a minute left at this point in the 3rd quarter right now. You're going to pick up 2 yards. You're going to pick up 7 yards on this next play here. We're going to show it to you from the end zone angle. You're going to pick up 7 yards, 2nd and 8. This is a great job here by Zamir White. 7 yards on this one. And, Zamir White got some carries, and he started to do some things at some point, right? I think this is power. It looks like duo to me. And he does a great job seeing this towards the right. It's a great cutback right there. This is something White was not doing early on. Great job right there. And it's a great block once again by Brock Bowers. Look at him hold the defensive end at the point of attack. Look at that. That's beautiful right there. You're going to pick up 7 yards on 2nd and 8. And then you're going to get that fumble play. And I think this kind of changed the game. I know the Raiders only scored 20 points. But for me, watching the tape, the execution for the Raiders was a lot better this game. We ran the ball a lot better. Pass protection was a lot better. Run blocking was better. The quarterback did a good job with the reads. I felt like our receivers and playmakers also made some plays. And we left points out there, right? There was a couple of drives that we had to settle for a field goal. This drive here, we started off well, right? Like we had we had 9 yards essentially on the first 2 plays. You pick up 4 yards, or I'm sorry, you probably wouldn't have picked the first down up, I guess, anyways, because he got stopped. But you pick up the first down here, and you potentially are able to get a drive going. Now, 3rd and 1, I would have loved for the Raiders to potentially play action this, right, and then get a rollout situation going. And I feel like that's one thing that Luke Getsy's kind of missing in his offense is, you run those wide actions. You sometimes get a quarterback to roll right if you want to do like that tight end split play as an example. But you just got to do a better job, be more consistent. You got to keep the defense guessing. 3rd and 1's a great time to play action. I think our team needs to throw the ball to have success running, right? We're not going to run the ball to have success throwing. That's just my personal opinion with kind of where we're at right now. And maybe something changes with Alexander Mattison as the full-time running back. This is the next drive. You're going to pick up 2 yards now. On this one, you got a split zone. Not a terrible job, but you get the backside guy here to kind of make the play. I'm not sure if this is a bad design or what it is, because you got 58 and number 11 going to the same guy. And then you got another guy that goes unblocked. So I think someone should have probably picked up this backside guy. To me, it should have been Powers Johnson. But again, if you get here, then this guy's going to essentially, because the running back's going to cut it into this gap regardless. Right? You see that lane develop. This guy makes the play, or one of these guys could probably make the play. But that's not a great job right there, in my opinion. Now, you're going to get a 2nd and 18. And Brock Bowers is going to catch the football, and he's going to make a couple people miss, and he's going to pick up 8 yards after the catch. 2nd and 8 on this one. It's a pretty good job. You're going to blitz, and Gardner Minshew finds his hot read, essentially, within this play. You get a 1st and 10. You're going to get an incomplete pass. And, again, it's to me, this is one of those things where there's some confusion because the quarterback's going to throw it back shoulder. This is to Jacobe Myers, and Jacobe Myers is running this, and he doesn't really see it. And I'm not sure if Jacobe Myers knows it's going to be back shoulder, but maybe he expects this to be deeper. But, to me, this is one of those miscommunication type things. And the pocket wasn't terrible either, right? Maybe Gardner Minshew feels like, hey, the pressure's coming, I need to get the ball out. But again, it's just miscommunication. You got to be able to hit these plays here. So that last play, 1st and 10, you're going to get a 2nd and 10 on this one. You're going to pick up 8 yards to Jacobe Myers. You got a stick towards the left of the formation. And then I think Trey Tucker's running a dig, or it might just be could be a stop or an in. Not 100% sure because the ball gets kind of thrown. But it's a good job by Gardner Minshew to get the ball out. He's pressured on this one. You're going to see Myles Garrett beat Colt Miller. And once again, I mean, to me, you got to do a better job, man. And I get it. Myles Garrett, man. But look at this. It's pushed right back into the quarterback. And look at this. As Gardner Minshew throws it, you can tell he's scared. Look at this. Look at him brace for impact. Yeah, I mean, it does suck because for the Raiders, again, I don't know if Wilkins, he doesn't think these things through, but having a tight end on this side, a running back on this side doesn't make sense. You got to put a tight end on Myles Garrett on every single play. So 2nd and 10, and we picked up 8 yards. This play right here was the play that, and I get the play. I get what you're trying to do, and you want to take the shot deep, and you're going to take the sack. Now, I like the play, right? I like the aspect, or I like the idea of this play. The thing is just got to do a better job, I guess, right? Harrison Bryant here gets beat. And then at the same time, left tackle Colt Miller gets beat around the edge. And Miller's block isn't as bad because if Gardner Minshew is able to step into this, right, if there's no pressure on the inside, which there should not be, right? Look, you got 5 guys here. You got a 6th offensive lineman. You get a tight end and a running back to stick in, or to stay in essentially. You got to just do a better job being able to stop this, right? If you're the offensive guys, and I'm not sure if this route was for Jacoby to get the ball now, or if his route was some sort of circus route. All right, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But again, 3rd and 2, you're at the 50-yard line. You had a couple of nice plays. You're driving potentially, right? These are points you're essentially leaving out there. And you just got to be able to clean it up a little bit. And I feel like if the Raiders do clean it up a little bit, they'll be a lot better. Right? I really do think they'll end up being a lot better. But you got to just keep getting better. You got to keep executing. You got to keep having success. Again, I think the Raiders had their best game against the Cleveland Browns on the offensive side. It wasn't perfect. Right? I'm not saying we're the Kansas City Chiefs or the San Francisco 49ers or the New Orleans Saints. Right? I'm not saying we're one of those type of offenses with Wilkins. But what I'm saying is we look better. Right? We ran the ball efficiently for the first time. Right? Great run here. 18 yards. Phenomenal job by you get a double team here. Center's going to reach the 2-eye technique on that one. That's a great job right there. And then even with Powers Johnson is going to do a really, really good job. He has a reach here, but I think both of these guys are going to kind of slant towards the right. So he's going to end up picking up the inner of the 2 guys. That's just a great job by the 3 interior guys. You're going to pick up 18 yards on this one. Then you got a 1st and 10, and you're going to end up getting stopped for no yards on this one. And you're going to actually just get guys kind of bullied on the inside. We'll see which one of the 3 guys it is. So you got zone towards the right, his outside zone. It looks like Cody White here. I'm not sure what he's doing on this play. He kind of just gets tossed out of there. I mean, you got to be more physical, man. You got to get into these guys. Yeah, throw this guy or just do something different, man. That's not good enough right there. 2nd and 10. Raiders are going to pick up 7 yards on this one. Harrison Bryant's going to catch it, break a tackle. He's not able to pick the first down up. And he gets close, right? You're running a stick concept essentially towards the front again. I mean, this is the same play we ran just literally on that last drive, right? On the last drive, it was Trey Tucker, where he essentially ran almost like a dig route or some sort of stop. This time it's, I don't know who that is. Who is that? No, it's Trey Tucker again. But it's the same play essentially, right? But this time the quarterback's going to throw it to 84 as opposed to Jacobe Myers. But it's the same play we ran on the last drive, just flip the other way. We picked up 7 yards on this one. 3rd and 3, you're going to get an incomplete pass. It's just pressure again, right? It's pressure. You guys will see once again, Colt Miller's going to get beat by Myles Garrett. And again, it's Myles Garrett, I get it. But the quarterback doesn't have the time to say, hey, let's let the play concept develop downfield. Even if the entire play was to get Madison the football, right? It was a bad pass. It was pressure. But I'm not sure. I mean, it does look like the entire point of this play was to try to pick off the linebacker and get Madison the football, right? You get a receiver, goes here first. You get a second receiver, kind of trying to pick him off there. I think the entire design of this play was to get Madison the football, and it didn't work. But we'll run this play again next week or the week after at some point, and maybe it'll work. You know, hopefully the O-line can protect a little bit better. I like these plays, man. These are 3rd and 3 type plays where you're designing this play. You know that, hey, we have this play right here. We practiced it. We're not going to run this play 10 times in a game. We run it 1 time when we need it, right? And you're essentially trying to pick some guys off. You're trying to do some things. If the pressure wasn't there, if the pass was a little bit better, I mean, Madison kind of drops it as well. But if it was just a little bit better, you're able to essentially maybe pick the first down up. Now, I should note this. So that last play was 6 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Incomplete pass. You punt the football. The Raiders defense actually got a 3 and out. And then the Browns punted us the football back. Now there's 4 minutes and 55 seconds left. And it's the first run concept right here that we're going to design. So Zamir White's in the game. I'm not even sure what the hell happened here. Look at this. You get 2 guys that go into motion at the same time. Look, Gardner Minshew sees motion, right? You see that right foot? 2 guys going into motion. That's a penalty. I don't know what the hell happened. That should have definitely been a penalty. But regardless, he stops the formation and you run a pin. It's not going to work. So the point of this play, right, was one of these tight ends was supposed to go in motion and you're going to snap the football. So 89 was supposed to go in motion. You snap the football. Let me just draw it out. So 89 goes in motion. You get a block down here. Maybe he leads or maybe Miller leads. One of these guys will essentially lead, right? But you get 2 guys that are essentially going to go out in front. It's a pin pull. All right, so you get a block here, up to here. You get a pick off there, here, whatever. But it's a toss play to the left. Now, the play clearly does not work because after 2 guys go into motion, Gardner Minshew resets these guys, resets that guy, says we're good, let's just run the play as it is. And watch the confusion here. Watch Brock Bowers. He doesn't know who to block. You get 2 guys that essentially go to the same guy. Right? 16 goes over there. 89 is not really 100% sure. Colt Miller's trying to take the guy to the outside. Play gets blown up. Right? Again, maybe this is on Luke Getsy. Maybe this is on Gardner Minshew for being a shitty quarterback. I don't know. You guys tell me. Right? But the thing is, you couldn't motion the guy back and say, let's just run it again because now the team knows what's coming. Right? I'm surprised that play wasn't actually called. But that was 1st and 10. Keep in mind, this is the last drive we're on the field. That was 1st and 10. We lose 5 yards. So this is 2nd and 15. And we're going to essentially run this slant to Jacobe Myers. I think we ran this play earlier in the game as well. I think Jacobe Myers actually caught this and hit for a big gain. But on this one here, Denzel Ward's going to break the pass up. I don't like this play, honestly. It's not a good play, but it worked on the other time. It works against off coverage, not press coverage. 2nd and 15, incompletion. 3rd and 15, we run a screen. It gets blown up. And then we essentially punt the football. Now, the thing that worries me about this is, we had the ball with essentially 8 minutes left, right? First down, 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We should be able to run the football, run the clock out. We essentially picked up 1 first down and punted with about 6 minutes left. We get a 3 and out, 4 minutes left. We should be able to run the clock out, and we don't. We go 3 and out. We punt the football, right? That's not good enough from the offense. So although I felt like there are moments in this game where the Raiders offense did a good job, there are other moments where they did not do a good job. There are moments where they weren't good enough, right? There are moments where they could have done a better job. They weren't able to run the clock out. Now, we ended up winning this game anyways because the defense got a stop, but we could have lost this game, right? So although I feel like the offense did a much better job this week, specifically in terms of execution, that was up until probably like the fourth quarter, right? In the fourth quarter, we struggled. And we're a team where we play better when we're behind. We're a team that sucks from playing ahead or when the score's tied. And we got to get better in those moments, right? We got to get better when the game's tied or the score's tied or we're ahead, essentially, right? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was much longer than I expected. The editing's going to suck, but it is what it is. It's what I signed up for as a content creator, as a guy covering the Las Vegas Raiders. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Also, support this channel when this video is going to 100% get demonetized by the NFL. Support this channel by signing up to Underdog Fantasy. If you guys are into fantasy sports, if you guys haven't ever played fantasy sports, Underdog is the best place to do it, specifically because of the fact that, like my team this year, I'm 0-4. My team's done, right? I took Christian McCaffrey with the #1 overall pick, took Nick Chubb in like round 6. I had some injuries at the quarterback position with Jordan Love. I'm 0-4. My fantasy season's over. But Underdog Fantasy goes all year, right? That's a weekly thing. So go sign up to Underdog Fantasy. There's a link down in the comments below. Support the channel. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time with another video.